Oh,
reading your book.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I can just do like a screen and then like Sarah to guiding people.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice having a familiar voice as people
Right.
do, especially like the phone and voice. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. I'll sit in. It's good in.
What's the secret?
Yeah, it's gonna get you
to those chairs.
Push this.
Waiting on you.
Side.
Waiting on you.
Yeah, that. There you go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Grab some.
Yeah.
So.
Price is right.
Right.
The microphone, like the price is right.
Yeah.
Yep, so little. Where's that picture from?
Not me, man.
Reminds me.
Yeah.
Heard my voice.
Oh, so.
So everybody's on time.
We're prompt.
Yes.
We're always on time.
Is Jake here today?
Yes.
Afternoon. What else today?
Well, what do you think of the screens?
That's pretty
Helpful?
fancy.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Well, we'll see when we get to the slides.
Yeah. You don't need those glasses anymore.
Well, that, that's what drove it, right? I'm looking over there going. Trying to figure out what we're talking about. So.
Good.
Good. Got some good updates today. Ocean Breeze Ranch. I'm gonna talk about Ocean Breeze Ranch.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about your son's birthday.
It's coming up
Very cool.
Thursday. Yeah, at Disneyland.
Yeah, that's.
Pray for me, would you?
Okay. I'm gonna pray for your wife.
Turning 7.
Oh, wow.
He's turning 7.
That's
Perfect.
Yeah. Corn dogs over at the Great America side.
So he's gonna miss
that it?
school? He's gonna miss school?
Or yeah, we're gonna miss school.
Oh,
Oh,
elementary.
Get your best.
It's got a
running
cloth.
shoes on. Wear comfortable.
There's
shoes.
see,
It covers some ground, I think.
All right, it's 1 o'clock. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. If we could stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, let's proceed with the roll. Bill Shute, present. Bill Stewart,
Here.
Lisa Hoffman,
Here.
James Kozak,
Present.
Julie Johnson,
Present.
and we have both alternates, but we definitely have a quorum. Thank you. So I'm going to move past the seating of alternates and get to item number 5, additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda.
Staff has none.
Okay, the chair has one. I'd like to add to discuss the meeting schedule and cadence. It's not on the agenda items, but it was a topic in the special board meeting.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. So that takes us to item 6, the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public?
We have no members of the
Okay.
public comment.
All right. I'm gonna pass item 7. All right, so on item 8, the November 18th minutes are in front of everyone. You guys could take a moment to refresh your memory, and could I get a motion to approve as written?
So.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, takes us to item 9, comments and requests. General Manager.
Yes, few things, lots of things going on. This seems like this, the first couple weeks of the year has been surprisingly packed with meetings and things that, it's just been, not like easing back in from the holidays. It was just back and running. Kind of big water stuff. This year, the operations agreement on the Colorado River will expire. And so that's big news right now. The Department of the Interior put out the EIS, which is the environmental document. It's got to look at options on, basically they need options on ongoing management of the Colorado River. And so they put these options out. None of the options are all that great for California. Really not good for anybody. But there's still a significant disagreement on, how any cuts or curtailments, which need to happen. The river it's overdrawn. Everybody knows it. But the main point of disagreement, the lower basin states, California and Arizona, Nevada, have offered up 1.5 million acre feet a year in cuts. And really the reality is they've already kind of done that. Like they've already taken that demand off of the Colorado. The upper basin states don't want to give up any of their allotment, which they have a 7.5 million acre feet, just like the lower basin states. They don't use it all. They only use, 4.5 to 5 million acre feet, but of course they want to reserve it for future growth. So that's the big sticking point, that they're having trouble even just getting beyond that. The lower basin states are basically saying, hey, everybody needs to share in the pain, right? We all share the river, and so that's ongoing. There's a deadline of February 14th, I believe. I think it's Valentine's Day, for the 7 states to come to the feds basically with hey, this is how we want to do it. I think the more time goes on, I think it's more unrealistic that they're actually going to get there. So, lots of talk of it could end up in litigation, probably, maybe will. But we'll see. That'll be an ongoing story, I think, at least this year and probably beyond, I'm sure. What is exacerbating it too is the snowpack in the Colorado is well below average right now. They didn't get the 2 storms that blew through California. Was that late November, late December? pretty major for California. I mean, gave us quite a bit of snow and lots of rainfall. Most places are well above average for rainfall. California, they put the map out completely free of drought, and it's the first time in like 20 some odd years that we've been completely drought free. But we still have the challenges on the Colorado. It's actually a supply side challenge now at this point. But the state water project is actually in pretty good shape. Colorado, not so much. There, lots of areas are 50% or below their average snowpack for this time of year. And last year, if you remember, I know I talked about at one point about the snowpack actually wasn't that bad, the levels that they were reporting last year, but the runoff actually fell well below normal. It was only about half of what they were expecting. So that's not helping things. Things on the Colorado side aren't looking great. Good news for us, I guess. I mean, we do have California is in pretty good shape. All the reservoirs are in great shape. The snowpack's about 70% of average. So those two storms kind of basically moved us from like 0 to 70%, which is pretty good. And that's on the heels of two or three straight years of at least average. And then, we had the one monster year in 23. So water supply, I mean, we're not looking at drought conditions really, other than, the issues that could pose some challenges from the Colorado. So anyways, more to come on that, but this will be a big year for, news cycles out of there. Sure.
With the deadline, it is being predicted that there will be no consensus. And so those who are very involved, is there any concern with the federal government just taking it over and making a decision?
Well, that's what they've threatened. That's what they've said is going to happen. Basically, if the states can't figure it out themselves, then Department of Interior, Bureau of Reclamation, who runs, Hoover and Glen Canyon and, operates the system, they do have the right to come in and basically mandate. Yeah, they could mandate cuts. They could mandate how we're going to operate, those kind of things. So that is a concern. Kind of gets taken out of everybody's hands, right?
Read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've seemed very reluctant to, though. Even a couple of years ago, when they were trying to get the kind of a little bridge agreement in, they kept setting deadlines and then extending them because I think they'd rather not. They'd rather the states, come to agreement and figure out how to share. But we'll see. Development, a lot of development activity happening again. It seems like first of the year, off we go. We're off and running. I'm sure, as many of you have noticed, grading occurring over off West Lilac. That's the Ocean Breeze Ranch development, 396 homes. They got their approvals through the county late last year and just rolled right into grading. So there'll be some actions coming forward. We think over the next month or so. We're still reviewing, the water. We've already agreed to the general facilities that are required, right? But now, obviously, they're being designed, and the plan reviews are going back and forth. And we don't have a sewer service agreement yet, so they haven't locked in their EDUs. I think that's coming here pretty quickly too. So, but that development is happening. Also, they started phase 2 of the Havens development. So they finished those. This is off Gopher Canyon, the 59 homes. I believe they sold all those homes. They had a couple left last time I talked to them, but that was a couple months ago. They had a couple left.
Is Ocean Breeze custom homes? Some custom, some
there's
regular?
a few. They have I think it was 14 large custom estate lots, but then the other 380 are basically tract homes, single family tract homes. So both, and then Havens phase 2, got started. So that's an additional 104 units behind the 59. They have a lot of infrastructure that's required. I mean, they have to build a bridge, and then there's lots of water and sewer. But they're moving quickly on that too. So no slowdown there. If you do get questions, because I've got a couple of questions, and then I've seen some questions. Ocean Breeze is across the San Luis Rey River, so it's the old Vessel's property. So from us, I guess it's south side of the river. There's also a project happening on the north side of you see that they've kind of cleared all that property. This is where all the confusion is, because you see people going, oh, they're building homes right there, and like, what? That's actually not. That is a county water authority project. And all they're doing, it's habitat restoration. So they're gonna restore native plants and things.
And that's off of where?
Right off 76, like as you were driving here off 76, you see the kind of the grading going on right off the highway. I mean, just almost adjacent to us. Yeah, that's a county water authority project. That I forget what it was, $12 million or something, but it's habitat. I think it's related to some of their projects, right? They had to do some mitigation. Yeah. So, but it's a pretty significant area that they've cleared, and so that's the mix up that keeps happening. Is people think they're building houses there? No, those actually aren't houses. Houses are on the other side of the creek, but even more significant grading over there. They are moving some dirt over there. I think it was a couple million cubic yards or something that they were going to, trying to balance. So anyway, so there's a lot going on there, and obviously that impacts us too. There's a lot of, staff time going towards these developments and the plan check reviews and all these different things that are happening. But it's a good thing. It will bring a source of, there'll be some capacity fees and funding that comes through that's going to help out with our sewer projects and, things like that, and water projects. And so, that is a benefit of those things occurring. That's.
What about the Bonzel Park?
Oh yeah, and that's the other project that gets mixed. Yeah, that's the other one. I meant to mention that. That one seems to be moving really slow, but it wasn't supposed to be done until this summer. It seems to be moving even slower than that, to be quite honest. But
I can't figure out what they're doing.
yeah, they're gonna build big soccer fields. I don't know if they're AstroTurf or if they're
Just gonna grow grass.
or if they're gonna grow grass. But they are moving forward. They did make a connection to our sewer. So yeah, if you drive up into that, the housing development sits right next to the elementary school. And we did the inspection and all that. So they are building the facilities. They've got bathrooms and things that are on site that we're gonna provide sewer service for. They already have water meters, so I don't think they need anything new there. But that is the other project. So you have that park, then just kind of beyond it, the Ocean Breeze Ranch. Then across the way, you've got County Water Authority project and the Havens. And yeah, if you go on social media, a question goes out about one of these things, and it's just like the misinformation is rampant.
So
It's rampant. So I at least wanted you guys to know these are the 4 areas that actually we got some pretty significant projects going.
that you may not be able to answer. With all this development and all this traffic going in both directions and all that, are there any proposed traffic lights going to be installed?
I believe so. I don't know all the details on that, but I know Ocean Breeze was tasked with, there was kind of multiple improvements. Some stuff happening. There was some stuff that was right by the schools, like right by the middle school, high school, on Lilac, where they're having to, like, they're adding dedicated lanes around there.
But no lights.
I don't know about the lights. Yeah, I don't know about the lights. And so there was a couple of areas I know that they were tasked with improving. Also, the Havens is conditioned with putting in a traffic light, but it's not until they do phase 3. So when they get to phase 3, they've got to put a traffic light along Gopher Canyon. I think where the entrance to the the golf is on the other side. So yeah, I heard a lot of talk about that. Some of the residents wanting 2 lights and they're only conditioned for 1 and things like that. So Ocean Breeze does have a lot of different conditions all around that they've got to satisfy. Yeah, but it's, yeah, kind of big
You know, the
news.
disappointment that many may not know is all this development, but right now the school district does not have the funds to build schools. And so if you want to know more, if you live here, they are having meetings to address that in the land right off of GERD.
Mhm.
So if you have any interest.
Yeah, I think they're going to do some community surveys and things like that. And we have a few things going just for this group with the water district, water district and the school district that we're actually going to partner on that aims to help with some of those funding issues and things like that. Some things we're going to partner on with some of these developments and things like that. So you'll probably hear the first part in February. I don't want to steal the surprise, but yeah, we do have something in the works with the school district that's looking to solve all of, kind of, we all have these issues, right? Kind of the same issues, right? Facilities and things like that. A very low, kind of a lowish population that's to support like a really big land area anyways. And so we've got some really smart financial people that are coming up with a couple of things that might help with that, with all this development.
If the local paper isn't doing it, with our newsletter, could we help at least our ratepayers to understand what all of this grading is all about, and maybe give them a little map?
Map.
Yeah. Hayden, you have a comment?
Why don't we put active developments on the website with maps?
Yeah.
We definitely could.
If people are asking and they're not sure even where to go
Yeah.
to get the answers.
Yeah. This last month, I know we have a construction project going. So we kind of use the front page to highlight that we're going to be impacting folks along La Cañada. Yeah. La Cañada Road. And the surrounding areas. But I think it's a good idea. I mean, I actually mentioned it I forget who I was talking to about that maybe we should put this in the newsletter. It's not really, they're not our projects, but it's like, we know, right? We know what's going on, and it might help some confusion. Yeah.
It definitely affects them.
Okay. So, yeah. We're a little behind on water sales this year. That might be fixing itself currently. The warm weekend. We actually we got caught a little bit yesterday. We took a couple tanks offline for interior recoat in our southern zone down in Division 1. But with the hot weekend, demands really started to pick up, and so the thing with the operation plan we had in place, it was having a little trouble keeping up with the demand. So we kind of had to shift a little bit yesterday, kind of midday. I think, everybody's irrigating again. But we're behind on our water sales. I mean, it's not drastic, about 500 acre feet. So, we're about, I think for this point of the year, we're about 7% behind or something like that. It's not, nothing to, nobody's panicking or anything like that, but we are a little behind the wet weather. Definitely our folks responded, and
Assuming that topic really hasn't had any impact on water quality or any of those kinds of things. Have they had a bloom or something up at Skinner? Because we can definitely tell a difference in the water right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's been treatment going on that's been over the norm.
Yeah. Well, demands were way down, and so that does have, even just internally, has an impact on water quality. There's really 2 issues. That just kind of the water, not moving enough water, cycling the tanks and things like that. So our ops guys have had to do some kind of creative things this year, because we've had 2 episodes where we got really soaked, and I mean, it went to basically 0, indoor demand only. And it is difficult at times to keep that residual, which we have to keep a residual in the system. So our operators have been doing a lot, especially down in the south zone. That's where we've struggled a little bit, but it goes all the way through. If it goes to Morrow and then out to the south. So everybody, yeah, a lot of people recognize it, myself included. I always know what's going on. I just have to turn the shower on and but so yeah, that has been a challenge. The other thing and this is kind of the bigger challenge is it's really met struggles up at Skinner.
Mhm.
I haven't heard that there's been anything unique other than they're taking a lot of state project water, which tends to have more organics and requires a little more disinfectant and things like that to so that there is some they're doing about a 60% blend up at Skinner, which is great for our growers, again, low TDS and all those things, but yeah, the organics that come through sometimes cause some water quality issues. The bigger problem is and this is kind of an ongoing, as San Diego has kind of dropped off how much, water they're taking from Met, as their demand has fallen, especially on the pipeline that they shut down in June, Pipeline 4. Met's just struggling with keeping a good disinfection residual because of the low water demand, right? It's a huge pipe with all that water in it, and sometimes Rainbow's the only one taking any, right? We're the only ones taking off that pipeline. So we've actually had all 6 agencies that are involved. It actually started as a call mostly related to the detachment agreements that had to occur between San Diego and Met and us, but we're almost done with that, like all the different metering agreements and things like that. It's kind of technical stuff. And we're working on this kind of cooperative agreement. So it's doesn't have a lot of teeth to it, but basically it compels all of us to work together to actually, when we're making, water orders and things like that, those are like a kind of a coordinated effort, especially during times of low demand. So to help Met keep their water quality good, which in turn keeps our water quality good. And so I think we're actually really close on finalizing that agreement along with all the other, little metering things and stuff. So, that's been a key issue. You will see in the CIP, as we start, funding for next year and those kind of things, we're going to have a couple of water quality projects in there directly related to these issues, right? The problem that Met's having, some of the issues that have popped up in our system that we're dealing with now, but that have better solutions so Bill can't even notice when we're making changes anymore. So
Is that something maybe we could highlight in a future article in the
Yeah.
newsletter with regards to when, water demand changes and different things happen? This is all the things that we do to try to
Yeah.
make sure that we deliver the highest quality product.
Right.
So if you might be able to tell a little bit of difference.
You may
and
notice a
that-
little
that
chlorine
means that-
smell.
Yeah, that's activity going on. That's
It is.
that's your water.
Us keeping you
district making
safe.
Sure, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what is occurring is, regardless of what agency is involved, that if we continue to be a source for our ratepayers to get information of what's happening in the region, we're actually helping everyone to stay informed. So that's the focus of the newsletter, as well as working together to keep the communication going.
Sure. Okay.
I have 2 quick points.
Yeah.
Question. What agencies are involved in the cooperative agreement?
Well, it started out, it was Eastern is on the call. So it's Eastern, Rainbow, Fallbrook, Metropolitan. Those are kind of the 4 that have
Okay.
developed the agreement. Rancho and Western also, Western has connections that Rancho uses.
Mhm.
Rancho's like the sub agency. So,
Right.
but those 2 will also be involved. So those are the 6 agencies.
Basically Temecula and all the way down to Riverside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in everything south of Skinner, basically everything
Okay.
south of Skinner.
Thank you. And,
Yeah.
and any news at all on what's going on the big tunnels, the Delta?
Yeah, I mean, they're continuing to push. I mean, it seems like every week there's hearings up in Sacramento,
Mhm.
Bay Delta plan and all these different things. going on. They have a lot of hurdles though. I think still, I mean, they were trying to get all the permitting and entitlements done by the end of this year, basically by the time the governor's term is out. Yeah, they got a long road. You know, they were trying to get that legislation passed last year, the stuff that was in the budget to fast track it, and which failed and never made it off the floor. And that was pretty big setback.
Okay.
So their continued push, I don't have any specific, Sites Reservoir is actually the one that's moving faster, it seems like.
Is it?
Yeah, if you call, you know, decades and decades and decades.
Snail speed.
Fast.
Yeah.
But it does seem like the one that's closer to construction. I think they're actually pretty well through most of their permitting. That they've got I know they've got a water rights application that's coming through, which obviously that's a big one. Water rights application that's in with DWR right now. I think once they have that, I mean, they've already kind of selected a contractor, and I mean, there's a lot going, which that's controversial too, but that's actually the one that looks like it may go first, which is more storage, which is a good thing. But yeah, even still it's still got a couple hurdles too, but the tunnel, yeah, that's probably going to be, I'm guessing it's going to be not going to be ready to go in 2026. That's my prediction, but I could be wrong.
Well, we could bet money on that. Any other questions for the general manager?
Thank you.
Nope.
Oh, I have one more thing, and I was saving it for the end. No, you guys know we have a coin recognition program. We're well aware of our coin recognition program, and you all received one of the coins probably when you joined the committee. We wanted to honor you with your time of service with our professionalism coin. And this group in particular, just the amount of professionalism you've shown and in all your dealings here with the district have been fantastic. We're going to take the next 10 years of your participation and then you'll get a teamwork coin after that. So this is just the first one.
The vault.
Duly noted.
So that's how valuable these things are. That's the kind of commitment it takes to do this. But we wanted to present you with these as just a token of our thank you for chairing meetings and
Thank you, sir.
doing these things.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jim. appreciate
Thank you.
So thank you all. Oh, thank you.
It's not on that.
I didn't even get the first coin.
It's okay. We'll mail it.
Sweet. Thank
So
you.
thank you all. We appreciate you very much.
Thoughtful.
Yeah.
Okay, put
All
this
right.
in the vault until 10 years and then.
That's right.
Yeah. Once you get all 5, you get one of those things too. So
All right.
the next 50 years. You get
Moving on. So we're gonna do, thank you again.
That's very nice.
Committee member comments. Why don't we just start on the right here, Director Hoffman?
I have nothing.
Okay, Julie.
I've been asking all along, so I'll pass.
Okay, Bill.
No, I don't.
Yes, I have a couple. I want to congratulate staff on this great January 1st article that was in the Village News. There I am sitting at my kitchen table and I said to myself, what a great way. I mean, what a perfect headline. Rainbow Water celebrates a year of continuous improvement. I mean, I don't know of any district that gets a headline like that. And I don't know if this was in the can and the Village News just needed to fill some space. You had an article that you could deliver to them. But I think it gives you the idea that we ought to have some articles or some progress updates
Yeah.
quarterly to tout our own horn. And it's wonderful it almost sounds like a third party's, advocacy by the Village News, even though we wrote it because it said it came from the district, but it's I think an excellent way to inform our customers that we are doing some good things, because how else are they going to know? So kudos to you guys on that. My other comment was, since I'm in the real estate development business, we're getting I get a lot of subscriptions to Trends and everything else, and we meet with a lot of public home builders because that's who we sell land to. I don't have anything in San Diego County, so I don't have any conflicts, but we're seeing a tremendous interest at these public home builders starting to ratchet up again.
Mhm.
They were pretty slow in closing 2025. Interest rates did not come down as quick as they thought, so they weren't selling as many units as they expected. So their inventories are a little higher, but others have reduced prices or bought down the interest rates to help sell some of their inventory, but they're all in a buying mode now for 2026. So if you think it's getting busy now, I would think by summer, fall, you're going to see a lot more, which makes me think, when was the last time we looked at our DIF fees, developer impact fees? Do we need to start increasing them? Because, pretty much all our costs have gone up.
Yeah.
Those are great sources of continuous revenue. The other thing that is a cost factor is plan check costs and the personnel it takes to manage those plan check costs. I know a lot of cities have gone to third-party sources to farm that out. That can sometimes, and they pass those costs along to the end user, which is the builder that's asking for the plan check, because I've paid a ton of those plan check fees with any application. So those may be some things that you can look at that can help speed review, be more cost effective, but I think DIF fees can be a wonderful way. Also, I don't know if you have a joint community facilities agreement with the county of San Diego. Any project being built in the county, most developers will try to get a CFD or
Mhm.
community facilities district. And if the water district board approves doing a joint community services agreement, you can get your DIF fees and all your water fees paid up front
Mhm.
through that process, rather than waiting for every one to be pulled. So that's another source of potential cash flow.
Yeah.
So just a few things to consider going forward with this next run up, because interest rates are going to be coming down. They've already started.
Mhm.
I saw an article on Friday that actually 30-year mortgages got down to 5.99. And I think it's going to be 4.99 before we know it. And
Yeah.
that's going to unlock a tremendous amount of activity, I think, in the marketplace.
Okay.
So we ought to be ready and
James, that's a good point. What is our current fees?
Yeah, so we updated our capacity fees, our buy-in fees we did a major update in 2024. Yeah, 2024. And when we did that update, they went up by like 27% or something. We hadn't done it in quite a few years. And so we did an update just recently, 2024. When we did that update, we also put in the resolution that every single year we would increase by the construction cost index. So automatic increase based on construction costs here in California. So I think it was 5.1 or 5.5 this July. We raised them again, both water and sewer. So I think we're in pretty good shape as far as, current on our capacity fees, because it's so important. That was like job number one was we got to get this thing on the right, get that right number. So yeah, when you start talking about 400 units and 100 units and things like that, there's a lot of cash tied up in that too, both up for the sewer and water, which can both use it. Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Checks, charge.
We do. We actually outsource our plant checks. So yeah, I think we just
You just renewed.
renewed it with Ardura, who does it for us, and it's been pretty effective. Yeah.
So when was the last time this was articulated? At like a board meeting or a committee meeting, that the community members know that, hey, we're having these inconveniences, but also this is what's happening.
Last meeting and then went to the board.
Mhm.
To give an update in last year, 2025.
Okay,
Update.
was that communicated in the newsletter or any?
We have it on the rate sheet right now.
Okay,
That was updated in the
Yeah,
website.
we talked about it in this committee when it was getting prepped, but as far as, I mean, but I think something that highlights the
Mhm.
developments that's going on within our district. And, maybe there should be some shared information about
Mhm.
how these developers are, contributing to the infrastructure.
Paying their share.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
That would
just
be good.
creating traffic jam, but contributing to the infrastructure within the district.
Which helps keep ratepayers' prices down.
Right.
We gotta make that connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, you said you had
Yeah.
a couple comments?
Yeah, I do. Like many of you, I attended the special board meeting dealing with the structure of the committees. And I would just wanted to share, I made some comments at that time. I just wanted to share a little bit more into, what I think has happened. I had the privilege of being appointed to the board to fill an unexpired term in December of 2015. That's just 10 years ago. I wish all of you, except Hayden, who was there, I wish everyone here would have had an opportunity to see what was going on in Rainbow Water District at that time. What was going on was not much. It was a disaster. It was a disaster from a standpoint of our staffing. Our EDU with the employees was horrendous. We were paying lifetime medical benefits. We were all sorts of things that would have made the district, essentially financially unstable. There was very, very little going on in terms of developing expertise, both among the directors and among the representative bodies or committees that occurred at that time. But starting at that moment, we saw this real change as we basically deflected the overtures of FBUD to take over the Rainbow Water District and incorporate it. And it would have been a very poor thing for Rainbow ratepayers. And that was projected and finally, as we hired a new GM and as the board confirmed that they were going to fight that and managed to do it, coming out of that, they decided we're going to professionalize this district. And we had the opportunity then to see the growth of these committees. They became more and more very stocked with professionals with deep experience in every area. The engineering committee, 4 or 5, extremely competent engineers who brought purchasing capabilities and construction capabilities and design capabilities and engineering review, and had a lot to do with the eventual staffing of our engineering department and the kind of professionalism that's now developed there. Without that check and balance, from the staff, recommendations coming to the committee, getting fully vetted before then going to the directors, it would have been very difficult to get through this 10 years when we have had to do so much construction. We've had to update our capital improvement plan. In fact, it didn't exist 10 years ago. We had to create one so that we could project ahead as to what we're going to eventually have to repair and replace as well as add. And then on the customer service side, that was my interest because I had managed very, very large community associations. One had 25,000 residents. You try to think of working with a homeowner elected board, just like we elect, people from our community, and then kind of translate to that many people from that many walks of life what you're doing and what you're offering, and communicate and be responsive to their input. We had to develop that kind of a program, and started with basically with buying some decent software because the people that worked in our front office had absolutely no tools to work with. The tools that have been developed now are not just average, they're extraordinary. As we see when we look at the reports in this committee every month, we're just blown away by the fact that we have tracked every single phone call that's come into this district. We know how long they've spent on the telephone talking to our staff. We know how many people we have basically satisfied with all the information our staff has been trained to offer, continuously changing, on and on and on. And then not only tracking software, but also the very system itself, which doesn't put you on hold for, 5 minutes before somebody comes back on the phone. That just doesn't happen now. It's not because we have a lot more staff, it's because we have a lot better system. And working on those systems has really made a big difference. And the quality of the staff that we do have has just been extraordinary. And then on the financial side, same thing applies. I mean, we have been through, I think you're our third controller in the last year and a half, right? There's been-
It's the third I've seen.
Yeah.
So at least in 2.5 for sure.
But-
Yeah.
Time to the chair.
That's good.
And that isn't, and the people that have served as our controller have actually gone on to very, very big jobs because they've been very competent and they're getting, our financial system is getting more and more sophisticated, and it has been over these 10 years had to completely, throw away the old accounting system and start over again. And lastly, from our ratepayer standpoint, projects that we've undertaken that have been vetted by these committees very carefully and oftentimes changed a lot, like replacing every single meter in the water district, 8,700 of them or something. At one point, when we weren't satisfied with the contractor we were using, we actually took that operation in-house and did it, the second half of it, for like half the cost, because we have such a competent operations staff and they were so capable of doing that. And so those sorts of things, I think are all an outgrowth of this process. And I wanted to say one other thing, and that is the formality of this process does not stop input. It enhances it. If you read this little public comment section in every one of our sets of minutes, it gives people the opportunity to come on and join our meetings by phone, come on, electronically, picture and all, comment during the meeting, comment on all of our individual agenda items if anybody wants to come in. We've had many, many people do that. It is only in times when the ratepayers are relatively satisfied with the way things are going that we don't see a lot of input. It's not when we're doing things that pique their attention, but that's important because this is by law. These structures of this committee is not just a matter of district pleasure. It's a matter of what the civil code says we have to do to formally create recommending bodies to boards of directors. And we've taken that. I think that California's Brown Act and California's civil code sections that apply and government code sections are there for good purpose. And I've seen what happens in informal situations, and it's nothing like this. It's nothing as professional. So it's the professionalism that I think that we deserve. The board deserves to get professionally vetted recommendations for action. And that's what we've done. So I would hope that that level of expertise and that level of care and commitment to going through the process would continue. So
Thanks, Bill. Okay. I guess I'll just wrap up. And I also would like to just thank everyone for your participation and your volunteering. Also for attending the special board meeting and making your comments and your thoughts clear. It's a little unclear to me what the road forward is going to look like and the timing of all of that. It's not really on our agenda. So as far as any changes that are going to take place to the structure of this committee, the frequency of the meeting of this committee, those types of things. So I asked for an agenda item to talk about the calendar and the cadence later on. I'll just summarize that. I think it's clear based upon my comments that I'm kind of extremely disappointed in the vote. That's all I have to say. Quarterly customer service
May-
call.
may I add to the comments just now.
Okay.
I agree with what has been said. I also feel the value of serving 6 years and being on all three committees. That what I felt was also the diversity that was brought in because of the members on the volunteer members, what they brought to the committee. It was, we were ratepayers, but we also had an interest in, like, if we just look at our committee members right now, James, you're very knowledgeable of real estate, something that I and others don't possibly have. Bill, you have an expertise that is very important to be able to understand communications and the ratepayers and this community of where we live. And Bill, we had the honor of you never have boasted, but when we went to Santa Luz visit and to see the creation of that community and that you were the leader, it was very impressive because I think we are able to communicate in different things. I'm bringing the view of education, the view of the next generation, their impact here, but we work well together and we're always passionate about the ratepayers. So I agree with everything was said and I appreciate us having a moment to talk about this.
All right. Well, and I think, again, we'll figure out exactly what the next steps are. And figure out how their continued contributions to the district because it's valuable. Okay, moving on. Item 10, quarterly customer service call metrics.
All right, so I got some data for everybody here. Wrapped up the year, didn't look good. This is going to be the average hold time. So the average hold time from September to December. The two that are going to stand out is November and December. So December went 1 minute and 3 seconds average hold time. That was the first time in 2.5 years that we exceeded 1 minute, but there's a reason for that. So we had 2 staff members on PTO. So we're operating on pretty much half staff. So it was me and another CSR on phones. Even at half, we still managed to keep it pretty low. It's funny because Carlene and I were actually talking to another supervisor from another district and we asked them what their average hold time was. And they said it was about 5 minutes. So when we're looking at 1 minute or less, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they were pretty surprised with such a small team that we were able to keep.
Do we ever say, we'll call you back, leave your name and number and we'll call you back?
There's
I
an
hate
option.
that.
Yeah, we don't say that when someone answers the phone, but there is an option for a call back, like
Okay.
whenever you call.
Your
you know,
wait time is
Yeah,
45 minutes.
I have a slide on that. I think we have
Yeah.
like 10 to 15 on average. It's not very many.
But what's impressive, Josh, is the consistency here. This is
Yeah.
not seasonal or something. It's consistent.
Right.
Very consistent.
Right.
And that's admirable.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good stepping up, especially when you're shorthanded.
Yeah.
I think, I live in technology and every application that I come into contact with, it's always looking for ways in which you can deploy generative and agentic AI. And it drives me personally crazy when I call and I have to talk to a bot and to be able to have people on the other end of the phone, to be able to answer the call so quickly and then to be able to interact with them. So that's a good thing. So keep up the real people. It's a great job.
The only other thing I would add is that I think an important item here is that we continue tracking what we're doing, because if you don't know where you stand or what you did or the reasons why, when these people come back, we're looking then for January to be under the minute again.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
we have a goal now. So by having a standard in which to track, it lets you know whether you're winning or losing. And that's very important to the entire team. And I think it's great information. So thank you.
Of course. Yeah, and that minute baseline, that's not even like a district goal. That's just my own personal standard for my team. So that's just something that's better to have them underneath every
It's the
month.
bar now.
It is, definitely is. So this is gonna be the whole time compared to last year, 2024. So again, pretty consistent there in the 50-second range. So nothing too different. This is gonna be the average talk time. So for the past 4 months, about 4 minutes, 20 seconds seems to be the average across 4 months. And then compared to last year, the thing that stands out is going to be December of last year. So that was kind of just some leftover from the auto pay issue that we had. We had some bills come out, and people were just kind of questioning the issues on the bill. Kind of got that squared away, just spending more times on the phone. But you can see then it starts kind of leveling off to that 4.5 mark. Total monthly calls around the upper 800 range. You'll see in November we had a little bit of a dip there. That was because of the storms. We had that heavy rain, so kind of water sales were down, but we got some happy customers, right? So they're not calling, which not a bad thing, but so that kind of shows there. So pretty much whenever it starts raining hard, that's when we start to see a decrease in the calls, and then on the bottom, that's when you see the callback requests. So about 9 for September, 7 October, 19, and then 12, and about, I would say, 90% of those are going to be just for making payments. So like you had mentioned, just they don't want to wait, and it's a short wait anyway, but they'll just request a call back instead.
Okay.
And compared to last year, so that's where you see October as 1,500. Me and my team are still traumatized by that. Thankfully, we haven't had that happen again. But yeah, you can see there, it started in October, a little bit in September, increased in October, down in November, and then it kind of leveled off for the rest of the year.
Josh, is that in October? Was that when accidentally the bill
It
was
was.
correct for a few? Yeah. Okay.
That was the auto pay issue where it
Yeah.
deducted the
Yeah.
double payment.
We collected 2 months worth
Yeah.
of bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oops.
Yeah.
I tell you, this is something I've talked to the team a little bit about too, our management team, and that just the overall trend on these things. I mean, you can see even just going back the entire year, besides the below. Although we did get a few extra calls in December, the trend line when we hit November and that 755, it was, it's trending down like this. We did get a few calls in December. I think it was more, what are you guys doing with the rates?
The rate increase. Yep.
Yeah, which I think was another happy conversation, right? Not much.
Nothing on the fix, just the variable.
Yeah. But I think that's been the big thing, like seeing these positive trends where, now what are people calling for? Mostly just to pay their bill.
Yeah.
Right. And we're answering a lot of questions on the website. We're answering, and people are less upset, I think. I think things are trending, trending in a pretty good direction. But that's one of the metrics that I've kind of shown the management team, like, this is what we want, right? Not that we don't like to talk to our customers, but so I think there's a lot of positive there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And the videos that Amanda puts out, are very educational, like how to detect if you have a leak, what's a backflow, like all those videos, just really pushing out that education.
I
It's
need to
helping us out.
watch the how to find a video.
It's a short,
You got a lot of them.
Check your flume.
Yeah.
Keeps telling me, I just can't find it. All righty.
Last slide here. So this is the entire year, just at a glance here, looking at 2024 compared to 2025. Total amount of calls for last year around 11,800. This year, 10,600. So you can just see, looking at that blue line, at that blue graph there, that's what a solid year, like no unexpected issues, looks like. So pretty impressive year. I'm real happy for my team, and
Good job.
just kind of wraps it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Too, this is wonderful having these laptops right here.
Yeah. Squinting and trying to see what.
This is great.
Good. All right. Any questions?
Very impressive.
Thank you.
These are
for sharing.
leftover COVID monitors, by the way. Too. These are things we just had sitting. Yeah. So
That's
Really?
great.
Oh,
This,
yes, we cleaned them.
okay, yes. Okay, we're moving on to item 11, legislative update.
Oh, that's going to be me. Wanted to give you just a little heads up. There's, not a ton going on, but it's starting, right? All, both at the state and federal level. And I wanted to give you just, there is a little bit of good news there. The state budget, not good news. They think there's going to be lots of pain in the state budget again. So that's that's kind of the downside. But there is a few things on even on the state side, like the $10 billion bond that was approved a couple years ago, or last year, a couple years ago, Prop 4. Those funds are starting to roll out, and they're targeted towards water and fire. So there will be some opportunities there, grant funding, some opportunities there. So we're starting to look at those kind of things. It sounds like a lot of it is targeted towards fire protection and things like that. So I think we're going to be kind of looking at pipeline extensions, heli hydrants, our second heli hydrant thing, some things like that that might best fit in that bucket. But we're still kind of waiting to see. They're gonna bring out kind of specific guidelines for what would, how much money is going to kind of fall into each of these buckets and what they're for. On the federal side, what we heard, and this didn't happen last year, was they're going to bring back the community funded projects, which are earmarks. And so that we're looking at the probably like first of this month, or not this month, first of next month. They'll open up a window. It's usually just a couple week window where you can submit your projects and for consideration. This year, we've combined, we did the mutual services agreement with the 4 agencies. So I think when that, we've really kind of already given them all of our projects. And, but I think this year that's where we're going to try to kind of go as a group and go, hey, we want all these pipeline replacements in, or, so whatever that looks like. And they, basically the feedback we're getting is it gives you a much better chance of actually those things sticking, right? When you have a region, you're representing 100,000 plus voters instead of just 20,000, that kind of thing. But it does look like the feds are actually going to go on a kind of a regular budget process. And so that's hopeful, I think. We'll see. We'll see. At least what we're used to, right? Those few years, and a lot of those earmarks. That's how we got the 1.6 million for the on the wastewater side. That's what that came through ICE's office. So encouraged that might be available to us again, because there's not a lot of other buckets out there right now to kind of hit at for grant funding for projects and things. So those are kind of the big updates. We're really chasing additional funding for crop swap. So we're looking for avenues to do that. We've been, had some discussions with Metropolitan about potentially incorporating some of their conservation programs and kind of a consistent source of funding for crop swap. So that's been a high priority for all the agencies. But yeah, so that's kind of the news. It's early still. I'm sure there'll be a lot more topics. You're talking about electric trucks, and there'll be a lot of stuff going on. Both at the state and federal level, but some good news. I think I felt encouraged when we heard, hey, it sounds like we might at least have some opportunities again.
So what I'm hearing is it has been productive to have the lobbyists as a regional team.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, even just, the information that they provide and, yeah, and the connections and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's been really helpful. And really just to stay on top of this, if you remember, I can't remember if this was last year, maybe it was the year before. I think it was the year before, early 2024. The earmarks came out. They had not a good email address for Rainbow, and we missed it. We just missed the entire window. And so even just having, we have a monthly call that's set up, and we, talk through these things. You just don't miss opportunities like that. And so that's, yeah.
I'd like to mention, you probably, if you would like to get a direct input from what's going on with our lobbyists, at board meeting next week at 2 p.m., they will be zooming in.
Yep.
And giving us a briefing.
Yeah.
2 p.m. next board meeting.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah. It's going to be in a legislative update from the lobbyists.
From the lobbyists. Yeah. Both state and federal. So
Are the board meetings time not later in the evening?
1 o'clock.
Oh, there's still one.
But
Okay.
we kind of got them set for 2 o'clock. So wherever we're at in the agenda, we're gonna peel off and let
Okay.
them give a little update.
Zoom in.
Zoom in.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Okay,
That,
thank
that
you.
time is time guaranteed. I can't, for the rest of the schedule, guarantee you anything.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good. So the meetings are now still at 1. Okay.
All right, any other questions about the legislative update? Thank you. Item 12, grants update.
Good afternoon, Esther Land Management Analyst for the district. I'll be going over a couple slides that cover the district's initiatives for grant funding and also other funding opportunities from private sector or other parties.
Okay.
The first one is
Coach, virtual coach.
Siri is always listening.
Sounds
All right. Okay, so this first slide just kind of shows the different agencies that we're currently working with, we're actively talking to. As Jake mentioned, we do utilize our lobbyists, but Amanda, myself, and many of the other staff at the district proactively talk to a lot of these agencies personally through our general work of business. So we're always asking for updated initiatives that they can let us know about. So, Cal OES, Aqua JPA, SDG, we're all involved in current active funding with these organizations. What this next slide tells you is all of our current initiatives that have been submitted. I will go over one slide later of something that we're going to try to go for, but nothing has been submitted yet. It's just in planning. So a quick overview is we basically have about $1 million of funding coming that we will need to have a cost share, but 3.7 million of funding to the district. And what that means is whenever we apply for some of these programs, they finalize our costs and they say, okay, your portion is going to be 20 or 25%. Our cost share is dictated up above in the blue text. On the left is just the total cost of the project. So those are the costs that have been, all of these have been approved. They've already been reviewed at a state or a federal level. And our portion that we have to budget is going to be that cost share in the blue color.
We don't have the hazard mitigation grant yet.
No, it has
Update.
been submitted and accepted for application,
Oh.
but not awarded.
Got it.
So right now we have awarded 3 grants.
We have been awarded officially, yes, 3 of them.
Aqua, it's been
Aqua is active. It's already awarded and we've already received those funding. So it's marked as an active status. So if it's awarded, it just means that we haven't started getting money yet. But the state or the federal law has already reserved those funds for the district. We just go through, the grant process is a little bit lengthy. So even though we're awarded, right now we have 2 applications have been awarded and they still go through final iterations of making sure, okay, are you still going to do these costs within these years? The final point, what are your contracts now? There, for example, for our EPA grant for the pump stations, the lift stations, that's still going through final iteration. So they just recently asked for our contract for our legal services to make sure that it aligns with their legal procurement standards. So that's an example of something that we've been awarded. The state has already put aside that money for us. They need to go down and basically cross other T's and dot their I's to make sure that it's all good to go before they start allowing us to start the project.
So right now we've been awarded, or it's active, mostly state. We have 1 federal. Is that correct?
EPA grant, the 1.6 million.
That's the
Yeah.
only Okay, thank you.
And I'll go over each one of these individually in the next slide
Here.
too. And I welcome any questions you can ask anytime or at the end as well. So the first one is the WellStep. So we use this every year. We've already received the money for this. This is managed by HR and it's for wellness for our employees. So we've received it and we're actively using it as well. The second one is the CAL FIRE. We've actually just completed all the work for this. We're going to go through our final reimbursement, about $20,000 left. This cycle is for weed abatement. It's part of the grants that we are awarded in 2023, an example of how long it takes for some of these to go active, but we spent these funds well ahead of schedule. We're supposed to spend them by 2027. We already expended them. The next cycle will open up and we'll try to apply again. if eligible. Sometimes when they release the solicitation, they'll say, you know, if you've been awarded in the last 1 or 2 years, you're not eligible, but we're hopeful that we can still submit again. So this project is about to be closed. Our accountant Kathy, who's been amazing at submitting the reimbursements, just needs to get the last final photos from SMS before we get that last $20,000.
Are those grants available to our local fire agency?
They do have, fire agencies have their individualized grant opportunities that we're not eligible for. And I'm aware, and as well as Amanda, we work closely with the fire agencies, and they recently just submitted one, I think, for the water pods, correct?
Yes, they have one currently in place and then we're gonna follow up with another.
So we're not taking money away from theirs. They really segment these to municipalities, water districts, and different organizations.
Okay, thank you.
The next slide is the state and local cybersecurity. This is for really bolstering our security posture within the district. This is for infrastructure and also our employee development. This is managed, and this was submitted all by our IT manager. So he is the one that got this award for us. We have been awarded. We're actually just submitted our first reimbursement. So we're happy that this is finally getting along. We have $59,000 to spend for year 1 of this program, which will end in September. After that, we'll spend the rest of it. And actively work with the IT manager to make sure these are all on track. So we're excited that this one is already basically boots on the ground. Next one is the lift station backup generators. This is the one we're talking about, how it's been awarded already. We actually have a meeting tomorrow with EPA to go over the last details, looking over our legal counsel, because of the fact that a lot of the contracts and grants, they require you to go to RFP. Well, we did go to RFP for our legal services, but we're basically telling them we're not gonna go for a new one just for this grant, because we already had that. So that's just the last contract of the piece that they're looking for, just to review again within their internal group at the EPA, and then they'll go ahead and give us a good to go to have a start on the project. And then, you know, once that good to go comes, then we'll work with our new budget cycle to make sure we have the appropriate cost shares for the different phases in fiscal year 27, 28, 29, because it'll be a 3 or 4 year project.
This one's really important too. We have several sites that our generators are way out of date, can't get parts, and and they're pretty critical. We had a power outage last week. What was it, 7 hours? Luckily, the couple sites that were out, you know, we could manage, but but
Where's this photo from?
This is a general stock photo of a generator,
Oh.
because we haven't gotten the generators yet.
Seen that in our district.
So I just wanted to provide a visual
Yeah, I was saying.
of what.
It's hiding.
There wasn't a power outage last night.
Yeah.
What, there was?
Yeah.
Well,
quick
Okay.
one, yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Any other questions for this one? Okay, we'll go to the next one, which is basically the same project, but for all our potable water. When we initially submitted for this grant, we submitted it for 5 million. Because of the application and review process, they accepted our application. They went through all of the parameters. So for Cal OES, in order for them to approve it, the cost for us to spend on a project has to make sense to them. So the cost of it has to be equal or less than the benefits, and how they weigh that, unfortunately, is based on population. And because our population is not as big and these generators have a fixed cost as well as staff and all that stuff, they eliminated 2 of the sites for us because it wasn't as let's just say it didn't score. It didn't score above a 1 at a
And select.
benefit cost analysis. So what we submitted for that didn't move forward is the Valicitos and the Gopher. The good thing is we already have a project going forward for Gopher. So and the other good thing is the Valicitos generator was going to be the least expensive of all the 4 generators we submitted. So we have been conditionally approved to move forward to the next review steps for our 4 other sites. And if we were to get approved this grant funding, they'll allow us to start the project in 2027. It just takes Cal OES about a full calendar year to review and award different agencies. I do want to be transparent that we were told that our possibilities for getting this grant might be low because most of the funding they're thinking is going to go to the Los Angeles area for all the wildfires. But we're still hopeful. Our package is very good, and it is in the final process for the first initial review, and then it'll go on to the second to final review from Cal OES.
And do any of these reimburse facilities we've already built?
We
Oh,
Or is this all going
it's all,
forward?
it all has to be new.
Several-
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what
it
it
all has
was.
to be new.
Okay, thank you.
Can you say again, out of the four, which are the two that did not qualify due to population?
It served a smaller population based on the cost, and it was Vallecito's and Gopher. So we have Dentro de Lomas, Rainbow Hills, Lilac, and give me one more. No, it was on my phone, but I didn't want Siri to listen to me anymore and provide some. It probably would have been like, oh, it's this one. It is. So we have Rainbow Hills Lookout was the fourth one.
Okay.
So what was approved was Rainbow Hills, Lookout, West Lilac, and Dentro de Lomas. And like I said, Vallecito's and Gopher, the population size when we provide to them based on the cost. And that's including like buying the generators, trenching, all the reviews, staff time. It didn't pass the score for a 1. I believe the score actually came out to be 0.24 and 0.64 for those respective sites. We even tried to say, well, let's submit it without staff costs, just the generators. The population is served at the cost, but just didn't to pass.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm happy to show you that tool. It's very interesting how to calculate everything. They also base it off how much you estimate the maintenance cost is going to be for the next 20 years of the life cycle of the generators. So all those things go into it. It's not just like staff and direct costs.
Okay, thank you.
So we're hopeful we'll hear back. The team, I spoke to them 2 weeks ago and they said, we'll get a heads up in 2026, mid 2026, if it goes forward. The good thing is they let us know that even if it's not selected and it goes on a wait list, if some of the big projects that get approved don't actually get done, they'll start going down the wait list and dispersing the rest of them.
After.
So there's still hope if we hear back from 2026 that,
They might-
later
Yeah,
2026.
they might fund down. Okay,
Correct.
great.
Okay, this one we included this one. This is not really a grant. This is a pass-through program from Met. So what it is they allow us to submit an application for $15,000 for basically water conservancy projects. Last year and the previous years, we've done solicitation to our local community. They can submit turf replacement programs. I'm aware some HOAs took advantage of that in the previous years. I've been very happy with that. But this year we partnered with FPUD along with Amanda, who's helped tremendously with this effort. We are launching a program that will impact more of our customers. So we're going to have 100 customers that can receive 7 5-gallon drought tolerant, fire resistant succulents to plant, and also a pallet of 4-inch pots. So Amanda and Ahmed have already developed the application. We've had 19 already interested.
In the first 7 days since we opened up that form online.
And we're excited because this is, really something that's very exciting to give back to our customers. And this is funding that was received by Met. So they applied for a program for them. They got approved. And then now they're dispersing it to districts. So that's why it's a pass through. We'll spend the money and then we submit for reimbursement. So it's a zero impact for the district except for our staff time. Unfortunately, that's not reimbursable.
But see, that shows you that people are actually reading
Yes.
to know about this. So
Good.
excellent job on the communications on that.
Great.
And for our nurseries, we did solicit a lot of nurseries. So we're going to partner with 2 of them. One of them uses recycled water. The other one uses well water. And the one that uses well water is the one that gave us a really good price for delivering these 5-gallon large succulents that we'll be able to distribute to our customers. Our customers will be able, once they sign up, they'll get 7 of these, and then they'll get a whole pallet of 4-inch.
What is the name of the growers?
Silverthorn Nursery and Geo's Nursery.
Okay.
All righty.
And that'll be in April 25th on a Saturday that they'll come between the hours 8 and 2. And we'll have volunteers and staff handing them out and meeting our customers. Last 2 slides here, bear with me. So we have, Jay covered this. This is kind of our initiatives with the Congressman Issa. It's already been covered. So this is just a quick overview that I included in my slide. But the next one is a project actually very dear and near to our general manager's heart. We're trying to go after, there are below market value loans from the State Water Control Resources Board that's managed by the EPA. And what we're trying to apply for by the December 2026 of this year is a capacity increasing project. And the rate could be anywhere from 1 to 2% depending on when it gets approved. And we don't have to start paying it back until the project is done. So it's very exciting and we'll have more information as the process goes on. But that will be the last item on the grant and funding for the district, and I'm welcome any questions.
Yeah, this,
Where's this money coming from?
go ahead. Oh, well, well, this,
The one that's dear to your heart? Who's
this is,
funding this?
well, the SRF fund, it's a long-term, low-interest loan program that comes through the state. And also I was just gonna mention for our wastewater division, this is really important, right? We have several big projects over the next, call it 3 to 5 years. Really, it's to be able to handle all the development that's coming in. Plus the facilities are aging, right? So we've got kind of a dual issue there. North River Road being one of them, the conveyance along there, and one lift station and another pipeline reach. Only having 3,600 customers in the district on this side, which that will grow, which is good, and that will help this as well. But this is kind of how we get the big projects done, and so this would be really beneficial. It's very competitive. It's a very competitive process. You get scored again. It's a scoring system, depending on what type of project it is, and all kinds of different things. There's 7, 8 different kind of factors in there. But it is something our finance group has started to, pursue with the folks up at the state, which they've been pretty optimistic so far that our projects would be competitive and that kind of thing. But it would be, it would long term for that wastewater division, it'd be a huge win to be able to secure a couple of these loans to build those big projects. So yeah, that's big effort.
And this is similar to the Cal OES grant, where if we don't get approved for the loan on the first try, it's the same thing. If other projects that are approved in the same funding cycle don't move along, they'll come back and say, hey, Rainbow, you guys are at 70-90% design complete. We think you have a good shot of completion, and we'll award you the loan. So more to come on those. Any other questions for the grant and funding?
Very impressive.
There were just two small ones for Aqua JPA that weren't on the list. We have a $10,000 grant that we've applied for, the risk management grant for AI enabled security cameras. Ahmed can speak to more what they would actually do. So that's been applied for, and we won't know for a couple more months whether or not we were awarded that grant.
Okay. You want to talk about that at all?
So we've been relying too much on some older technology here for security, beams and sensors and things like that. And there's new technology that's coming up where it uses our cameras to actually find if there's animals or people moving or cars are parked or things like that. One of those we did a trial run with it is the employee yard gate. Instead of having every employee badge, it's actually reading the license plate, opening the gate for them automatically.
Nice.
So
At the airport.
yeah, exactly. So we're trying to use these cameras now instead of paying for these outdated technologies that every time there's a repair on them, they break down very fast because they're either mechanical or whatnot, where the cameras are much easier and can be built by the staff here at the district instead of an outside vendor.
Nice. Okay. The only question I have is, so where on our website do we talk about in totality about this grant activity and the impact it has to the ratepayers as far as the success that you guys have as cost offset that is really going, that's just a force multiplier to the budget, right? Do we have a spot? Can we highlight it, whether it's whether it's banners or have a landing page that we can do that? And I think maybe on an annual basis, we put out a press release that the local paper can pick up to talk about how you guys have been good stewards to help the ratepayers by going out and getting this additional funding. I think that's a really good focus. So
Great idea.
pat yourself on the back a little bit about that, because it's great.
Getting your tax dollars back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. We're going to move on to item 13, water use efficiency update.
Yes. Hey. So We talked earlier about the state of our water supply. The biggest call usually is, do I have a leak? Can you tell me if I have a leak? We don't have that technology in place. However, we have Flume. And for the past, 6 years, we've had Flume as a partner. Our contract originally started open-ended. We didn't have to sell a number of units per year. We had a fixed cost of $49 on the customer end. We are nearing at 66 devices as of this week that we have left on our contract that was originally at 1,000 units. We have gone back and forth with Flume to show options. So we find that we are great with the purchase. However, onboarding of the device is where it stops. We've done a lot of proactive with videos, news articles, or excuse me, sharing articles in the newsletter. And every time we do that, we see a very strong uptick in purchases from our customers. So newsletter equates more sales. However, we are not getting the initial return on investment. So we thought, how about offering a rebate after the installation instead of an instant rebate? We want to encourage people to actually install the device, hook it up, and receive all those benefits of getting the notifications on your phone, on your email, or with another family member. So we have a 2-year contract and the option to have the upfront cost for the customer at $125 plus shipping. Once they install, they will receive a $50 automatically rebate that will go through Flume. So it'll automatically go on that customer's card. The other option is to do a $100 upfront cost and a $25 rebate. So we wanted to get your opinion as a consumer, as a ratepayer. Which do you think would drive someone to purchase? The larger rebate or the smaller cost? In the end, the costs for us are all the same. We're just pushing that shipping cost onto the customer. We've seen Metropolitan pull back on these devices because they too have not seen a large return on investment or people installing them. We are the lowest rate out of all of Flume's customers across the nation. I've had people from Utah reach out to us. How did you get that rate? We were the guinea pig. We started off as the very first public agency to be onboarded. We've seen tremendous success. But moving forward, we want to know, do you want to continue on with this? If so, what price point do you think would be most beneficial?
And just to clarify, before you give your feedback, that we know that the devices sell well. I think probably regardless of which price point, it's what's going to really make sure that we get the installation rate, because the district has been supplementing all of the purchases. And what was the most recent installation rate percentage? It's well under 50, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Around like 30.
So we're supplementing these devices that aren't actually being used to benefit the ratepayer that we're intending to benefit. So we want to incentivize it actually getting fully installed and being functional.
And go ahead.
Go ahead and then I'll.
So if we have 50% that haven't installed it, how do we fix that? What are you guys doing to?
So customer service from Flume has been wonderful with following up. They have automatic emails that go directly to the customer after a 1 week, a 2 week, a 6 week point. We've actually had them, in addition to that, follow up with customers who purchased maybe 5 years ago, sending them an email, a letter, a call. Most of our installation comes from the very beginning that we were pushing out these devices. We didn't do as much communication, but since we ramped up communication, we saw a strong response with installs.
Yeah, so we noticed this low installation rate a year or two ago, and we started really working closely with Flume to give us more tools to teach our customers how to install this. And so they've given us, I think, an installation video that we have on our website. Just, a lot more assistance after the point of purchase. So we have gotten that installation rate higher than it was, but it's still not where we would like it.
But we could, from Flume, we can get the contact information of every person who hasn't installed, right?
Yes, they are able to share that with us. They usually are the point of contact directly to the customer versus on our end. To help with a lot of this, they've even offered as an incentive to upgrade them from a Flume 1 to a Flume 2. This new contract will be their Flume 2X device, which offers a larger range for the Wi-Fi signal. And then the customer doesn't have to buy those costly battery packages. As long as they use the alkaline ion batteries, they're able to replace on their own.
I think that's a big deal because I've had a lot of problems of, trying to coordinate with Flume to get my Wi-Fi working. I just happen to have a long driveway, so it's 80 or 90 feet out there, which isn't very far. I mean, yours is how far away? Yeah, I know. And yet we were unable to get it started for a long time. And finally, after 3 or 4 iterations, we got it going. But that last comment you made about the newer technology, I think that's really important because the battery packs are expensive, and I've been through 2 because I went back to the first installation and with the old device. I'm in the second iteration. Now you're talking a third, which would really be a big improvement. I think it would make it possible for more people to really use them, especially our bigger property owners who have larger properties. And and it's a great thing. And I've told the story many times, but it saved my bacon. I had a irrigation system running 24/7. It turned out my gardener saw it happening, came by. I made 1 phone call and they were able to shut it down, and all because I initiated the call from Arizona, where I was vacationing, and I could handle it all from there because the Flume device was telling me that I had flow. It's just a great thing.
Julie?
Okay, this may be totally crazy, but it is January and we have students in Bonsall that are looking for community service hours. And it could be that if any of these students were able to, with the superintendent and the board approval, but they could actually support those members who haven't installed it, because it could be they just don't have that comfort level. And these seniors could go out and probably within 10 minutes install that fume.
Everybody knows we need a kid to do that.
Exactly. And these kids at this time, they're starting to need those hours of community service. Just a thought, I don't know who you would contact, but it could be because Rainbow has a good relationship with Bonsall Unified, that it sounds crazy, but I think there are individuals that maybe if they have a high school student needing the hours to come out and just help them install it.
I think you're onto something, because to me, the disconnect is the installation, not the
Yeah.
price.
The disconnect.
So how do we get, I'm sure people would actually even pay a third party to install, but they may not have a plumber. They might, they're worried if
But
a
these-
service call
these
is going to be
students-
$200. Yeah.
And
So
they're going to be over
if there's-
18, majority of them. They have cars already, they have driver's license. Just a thought to talk with the school district and say, hey, is there a possibility of partnership here? And then it would be voluntary for the owner to have them come out. But it could be option 3 versus this option that, and it would be just good for the community too.
I was gonna say that what you're saying, James, is have an option of installation. I don't know if one of our guys goes, that was a good idea. I don't know litigation wise,
Yeah,
you broke my water valve. Like, I wouldn't even want my junior to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But he is looking for community service hours, so I get what you're saying. But like an installation option, like I know so many people that would get that and they're not gonna even try it. David, my husband, watched it on the video and put it in really quickly, but it is the installation problem.
Yeah.
It's simple.
If we just charge $40 or 25, I mean,
Well, we did investigate doing having our meters crew do this,
Yes.
but after talking to operations, they
don't want-
strongly recommended that we don't do that. Because of the liability. What if you didn't install it right? I didn't get notification of leak. Are we now increasing our risk disproportionately to, the labor costs or something like that? So
You have
They're-
a disclaimer for the community service.
Yeah.
sign here with your clipboard.
yeah, we can talk to them. in my experience working with them for the volunteers, they need an adult to be there to supervise and then sign them off on the hours. So it might be some logistical
Oh, absolutely.
questions that, you know, that we would have to explore. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does Flume say, is the solve for this problem?
Solve for this problem is communication. Letting our customers know that these are the video galleries that we have available for you to walk through. Unfortunately, they are not like us and have that one-on-one customer service support to call in. They are a very
Oh, yeah.
They don't even have a phone
Gen
number.
Z
It's all online.
Yeah. you put
But
Bloom-
company
Yeah,
that,
Yeah.
you know, app. It's just a different approach to
Yeah,
business.
But you
here.
do want the coupon. So if you
Yeah.
make that coupon bigger, if you pay this price and you'll
Yeah.
get this back once it's installed, they
Mhm.
might go for that
Yeah,
and be motivated to go
Yes.
watch the video.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I would, go ahead.
Have you done any surveys to understand why it's not being installed?
The primary reason coming from Flume was the challenge with Wi-Fi connection. Us being within that 1,000-foot range from the meter install to the home. The only other option would be to kind of dig out around your meter because some of our meters are covered in brush or dirt. That would be the
So
other
these are gophers.
Yeah.
snakes.
But I think you're onto something, right? Is we need to be able to identify who all these individuals are. We need to reach out to them. We need to find out if they have an old device and the batteries are already dead because it's been sitting in their garage for 2 years or
Yeah.
6 months or whatever. Explain to them that they can get a new device. Get them to the video, find out what the problem is. If it's a dirt covering their meter so they can't strap the rubber band on there, then we need to send a crew out there to clean out that that meter
Or the
box,
shop
right?
if I do on Wi-Fi.
Right, and that's a totally different thing. I mean, it's not Wi-Fi in the sense of you have this booster that's really transmitting that low frequency signal out to Flume. The Wi-Fi is being connecting into that stuff, and I know people have a tough time figuring out, I'm gonna, connect to a Bluetooth, device or a little mini network to be able to set that first step
Yeah.
up, and that's the challenge. But well, my only feedback is I think making a purchase and then getting a rebate is okay if it's an easy rebate
Yeah.
process. If we're gonna ask them to, make 14 copies of their receipt, sign in blood and all these other kinds of things before maybe get a check back, that's probably not a great thing. But if it's an automatic type of a thing,
Yeah.
I think, then
Put an expiration date on it so that they don't buy it and say, well, I can get a rebate, and 6 months later, they decide to do the install.
Is there,
An incentive to do the install.
Flume told us we had a leak. So David called customer service. Yeah, we don't find the leak for you. You have to call a company to come do that. So for 24 hours, we could not find it. We're listening, but I wasn't even home. But he said, finally, we found a company. So I don't know litigation wise, we can't recommend any companies. But if you had a list of 3 or 4 people, because water finder, like you don't even know what to you're panicked because we were losing a lot of water.
Yeah.
And it was underground and $5,000 later, we had to get new cement, dig up under our driveway and stuff like that. But I hear people all the time like, do you know a handyman? So if we had someone that we could give them a list, we are not standing on these people, but at least we're giving them maybe someone who's put a Flume device in before.
Yeah, we have a list of recommended backflow vendors that we give out whenever there's a backflow failure, but not like a list for, I think what you're asking for is kind of like a leak detection specialist is what you need for like a plumber to come out. We don't have a list of that because we have seen some issues even with the backflow list where customers will say, hey, you recommended them to us. Say, we're just giving you some options to choose from. We're not affiliated with them. We don't do business with them. These are just the people that are approved.
The licensed
licensed,
backflow testers
like
in our
this area. Yeah.
Right.
And they're licensed, which is different.
Yeah. I mean, there are going to be some people out there that are going to do that, but yeah. Okay. But as far as giving some names of a handyman or something like that in your area in each one of the districts or something, I mean, our guys have to know people that
Yeah. I think we can put a list together and we'll just put a disclaimer like on the
We do-
Petco vendor list, like, we're not affiliated with them. These are just the ones that are, licensed in the area that have experience with leak detection and, when, if someone
Or the
calls.
flume thing. I mean, installing the flume. I'm off my leak, but
Yeah,
that would have helped us.
Right,
Yeah.
and then you're really talking more IT and it's less about plumbing.
Yeah, I didn't know that
It's-
about
it-
that.
It's real, all you do is physically strap the device. Once you do the install or, just get your phone going, you do have to run a valve or open a spigot to let the
Yeah.
device calibrate. And that's the extent of the physicalness of it.
And
But
then it's internet.
and then, it's just what you're getting, information you're getting on your device. Well, I think if the rebate after the fact is automated, but I would highly recommend to staff that we create a list, a target list of these customers. We identify exactly what's prohibiting them from doing it and see if it's a technology barrier or it's timed out. The device is older, they don't have batteries, whatever happens to be, that we create a kind of a get well plan for each one of these people. And maybe it's an enhanced video, or maybe we watch the video with them, or they call in and we chat with them about it. Something, right? Because we've invested, right? And it benefits them and benefits the district. So we should make sure that they get up and running. I love it. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah,
It is maddening sometimes when you constantly have leaky pipes. But it's better to know than not to know. So
You asked the question, which do you like? I like the $100 and the 25 rebate. I'd like to see us use the kids from the Bonsall School District. I'd like to offer them. I'd like to make a deal. I think that's a great idea because then, I got I live in a little community that's almost 80% retired. Everybody's 70 to 80.
And they would.
They're all scared of this
Yeah.
because they're going to have to hook up using the internet, and that's beyond their art. They just turned down 3 years ago a $50 deal for all high-speed internet and TV that was offered by Spectrum. If we got 90% of them to agree, $50 a month to do both. What are you paying now? 2.25? Whatever. They turned it down because they have AT&T and they know how to use the device.
I guess an alternative to the conversations that we've been having is,
Yeah.
if it's a development, can we coordinate with our contacts at the HOAs to say, you've got 25 people in your development that have flume that haven't installed it. You have 5 people that have, or 20 people that have. Is there anybody who's willing in the community who's willing to be a mentor to help be a point of contact or a friendly neighbor to come help you out? I know personally, I've helped install 3 in my neighborhood, right? As soon as they start complaining about their water bill and their leak, I start talking to them about flume. It shows up, and then I'm getting calls. Bill, are you going to come over and help me install this thing? And I'm like, it's super easy. And guess what? It's a gift that keeps going because the next person who got it, I didn't do it. My neighbor helped
Pay it
them get
forward.
it installed, right?
Yeah.
So you start spreading that
Pay it
knowledge.
forward.
So maybe there's a little bit of neighborhood help that we can throw out as far as a little volunteer, whatever kind of local persons you can reach out to, but anyway, something. But I think $25 isn't much of a rebate. That one doesn't get me to do anything. But I don't know if I'm the norm or not. 50, okay, $50. I mean, that's almost a meal for 2 at McDonald's. You're just talking real money. Okay, anything else?
Let's move.
Did you get an answer on that, Amanda?
I think we'll just take a
You're good.
collective.
Okay.
input. Thank you. And we do have a plan for volunteers for high schoolers. A lot of
Okay.
events in April. So
They just
will
need those hours.
be facilitating those connections there.
They'll be helping us with the plant giveaway day,
Good,
the avocado
excellent.
festival.
But
Yeah.
you might even ask them, just say, hey, you volunteer here. What do you think about this idea? See what they say. They're very brilliant individuals.
Alrighty, so I think we're gonna wrap 13. We have quite a few more items to go, so, and this is the longest meeting on record, so we're gonna need to pick up the pace. Item 14, strategic communications plan.
Okay, we've been rolling out these quarterly updates. So right now we are standing at review of the digital media policy. It is to go to the board next week for review. And once that is approved, we will roll into our social media. We'll come into the 21st century. We launched the customer feedback survey with a little bit of a change. We asked for input on Do you attend our meetings? Would you like to attend virtually? Did you know you can submit public comment? And then we left a section, the most critical part of the survey was leaving an open-ended text for people to submit comments, compliments, concerns. And it really has helped us identify why we are receiving low scores or high scores. Most of it is tied to, I moved to the area, I'm from out of state, I am military, why is my bill so high? That initial sticker shock is why we are receiving low-end survey results. So that's been a wonderful source for information as well as drawing ideas for new content from the newsletter. We expanded our educational outreach program and are planning workshops for 2026. Those include gardening workshops, the working with Mission Resource Conservation District, educational outreach. We're attending a Project WET workshop later on this month to learn how we can further kind of delve into our K-5 education, because we haven't quite tapped into that area. We've done a lot of middle school, high school. And then the website is getting a much needed facelift. And we adopted that new document accessibility feature last month. We are building out the style guide to include best practices for all of our, key buzzwords that we use here. Do we capitalize D in district? Are we hyphenating this word? So that'll help staff have a more unified messaging all around. And then continue to update our collateral, our fact sheets. That's in progress. We're preparing already for Avocado Festival to have those. And then moving into next quarter, we're going to set up our internal communications metric dashboard so we can show you who's clicking through, what pages are being the hot click-through items for the month, as well as getting that return on our investment for social media, what is being seen and shared, and then build out that content calendar, and then launching the e-newsletter. The newsletter is going to be something that we want to expand further digitally so that we can get that immediate click-through and open rate, as well as be able to use it during emergency notifications so that our customers know we're on it. Here's what we're doing in place. We've actually started that with the La Cañada pipeline replacement project. We sent out letters to customers last week and asked them to subscribe to our newsletter that's specifically for that project. So every month we're going to be giving them updates. How's construction doing? Pictures. How far are we moving along? Are we midway through the project? When's the completion? To allow our customers to get peace of mind and knowing we're not just on their street ruining traffic in the morning all the way to 4 p.m.
Great.
But yeah, that's where we stand right now. Any feedback on items you'd like to see or anything you've seen from other districts?
Excellent.
No, I think the plan is excellent, and I really appreciate your the metrics, the tracking, and the progress in sharing that. I think it's great. You guys do it excellent. You reset the bar. I can't imagine there's a district around that does as well as you guys.
And it all
You
comes back from
presented-
getting input from everyone.
Presented.
That workshop that we had in February, what was
I
it,
remember.
2024?
I remember.
And we received staff input, committee
Yeah,
member
yeah.
input, board member input. That really helped us drive all of this and bring it together.
Yeah, a lot of organizations just don't have this level of sophistication on strategic communications. So hats off to you guys. You're doing a great job.
So next steps could possibly be to share this and at a national or regional conference, because it is superb. And so this is something to share with organizations that could be struggling.
We unfortunately missed a few deadlines for guest speakers for this coming spring session. Those open up and close very fast
yeah.
in September, October. So it's something we're looking forward to in the fall.
Good.
For
Okay, thank you.
But we have submitted for a few Capio
Yes.
awards that,
Good.
for some of our efforts. So
Excellent. Well
we'll
deserved.
see what happens there.
All righty. Okay, so item 15, digital media policy.
Okay, so last time we met, we went over the digital media policy. We took everyone's collective input, went through that, had our Alfred from our legal review it. Staff attended a social media workshop at Rancho Water, and then also attended sessions at Aqua. So we took those concerns that were voiced by other districts, lessons learned, and applied them through here. One of the key items we added in there was personal use and third-party filming. So we saw a lot of challenges over this past summer. We're seeing it a lot more now where you are out in the public and someone may be filming you with or without your consent. We wanted to make sure to cover that, just be aware and be mindful of your actions. Kind of, you're an ambassador of the district, even when you are not, in uniform. But be aware that anything that kind of is filmed goes viral that has an impact on district operations could be up for review or disciplinary action. And everything was in full compliance. We had this reviewed with Alfred, and then we're going to be having next steps review with our union representatives so that they make sure that we are in compliance with all of their needs, labor laws. So we're moving quickly on that.
So you're presenting to the board for approval, and then the communication plan after that, once you get the green light.
Yes, I have a 3-month content calendar right now. It's kind of in line with the newsletter. So we plan out all the way through April right now. So it'll just be translating that newsletter content to digital content, videos, graphics that will roll through. But
But in terms of, once it's approved by the board, we'll have to do a staff training to make
Right.
sure
Yes.
that everybody understands.
Yeah.
And we'll have software, to help us facilitate it. So
Okay.
there'll be training for
Great.
that as well.
All right. Anything else on digital media? Community events update.
Hey, this is an outlook of the year. Some events here were added over the last year. We kind of made a lot of partnerships, added more school events, blood drives. We're still kicking off with the student calendar contest with North County Water Agencies. March, we have a workshop panel discussion scheduled with Mission Resource District. This is in direct response to our previous board meeting this month where we asked about an ag committee and talking more about engaging with our agricultural customers. So this will help facilitate that open discussion, as well as use Mission Resources expertise. They're going to provide someone with an ag irrigation expert to come show best practices that can be adopted, grants that are available. We will flow into the end of March, which is our school career days. Those kind of run back to back with between Bonsall and Vallecitos school districts. And then April, we have a week of epic events. The Avocado Festival is on a Sunday, and then our plant program will roll out that following Saturday. So this will be the time for us to really, right now, reach out to all of our local high schools to have a call for volunteers to support us at those events, as well as any committee or board members that would love to join in and just help us have those one-on-one conversations, those questions about who's our board, who's representing us, what decisions are being made. May school field trips. We are still planning. Those are going to be either at Oceanside with the wastewater treatment center or have a field trip here on site. We're weighing those options. A workshop with Metropolitan focused on landscaping with succulents, best water practices, planting a garden. June and October will host 2 more blood drives. October, our annual North County Fire Open House event. And then we have an opportunity at the end of October to speak to students about future careers in water. And then the holiday food and toy drive wraps us up for December.
Great. Questions?
Any other events anyone has seen that maybe we should consider?
Where's the car show now?
Last year, we kind of received some feedback on that they don't have a lot of public agencies in attendance at those events. The registration fills up by the 3rd week of January, so we would have had to have been really on that. It's not necessarily our demographic because the majority of the participants come from out of the area. We're talking Pismo Beach, Orange County, so it's not something.
But is it back in the
serve.
area, or is it still out of Bates, or where?
They did have it move it to Bates. I have not researched. I'm sorry.
Okay, but okay,
Current
thanks.
location.
All right, perfect. A lot of activity going on in the first quarter. Great.
Yes, it's fun.
All right, moving on. Item 17, newsletter content planning.
Okay, so you saw in January, we had a highlight of our meetings. We gave information on La Cañada pipeline project. What's PRV? That was in response to a few claims and inquiries about, is it my responsibility, the district? So there's some of that up there, as well as a link to our site for more information. we introduced the plant giveaway program, and like Esther touched on, we have received quite a few inquiries about that. People signed up for our interest list. And then once we have that interest list posted out at the beginning of February, we're going to contact people via email and let them know that it's open for applications to the program. We're modeling it after Crop Swap. So we're kind of just giving snippets of information at a time.
Great.
And then information for how to stay prepared for storms, emergency alert info.
Alrighty.
And this is an outlook for February and March. February's more about plant information, turf rebates, and March is centered on Fix a Leak Week. We're going to still push Bloom in there. 10-minute challenge for how to check your house for leaks is going to be in that. And then the last call for plant program applications, as well as the WETA program, which is an irrigation program offered through Mission Resource Conservation District for our agricultural customers. It's kind of like a free checkup that you can have. We haven't really advertised this much in the past, but with our continued partnership with Mission Resource, we wanted to push that information out. And then a call to visit us at the Avocado Festival and sign up for our newsletter. Anything in here you think we should push forward, or ideas you want to?
I think
expand
back
on?
to that grant comment, I think maybe find some time in the next few months to talk about some of that activity.
Yeah.
Benefiting the district. I think that would be good.
Okay.
Other thoughts?
No, I think the grant information is critical.
We talk about water quality too. We've got water supply on here, but maybe we make a tie there too. I think we've done that we did a water quality piece a while back that
You did,
talked
and
about
it's
some of that.
a hot topic. People
Yeah.
kind of have a misunderstanding of what's coming from the state water project, what's coming in for Colorado
Right.
River.
I don't think we focused on kind of our internal, some of the challenges that we
Sure.
have here too. So that was good.
Maybe do that in March, and stick with supply, update in February. Split those up so there's no confusion. Okay.
Do you have any flume information at the Avocado Festival?
We do, and we will bring a device with us. That'll be a
Right.
great time to engage with customers, teach them how easy it is to install.
That would be good.
Okay.
One more is the Plant for the Future turf replacement. I don't know if we've published the name of the company the county is employing to roll that out. Do you have that?
We have just been titling it as the County of San Diego. That's the information that has been coming directly from that business partner, has asked us. They have not exactly said to define who they are because they're contracted through the county.
Yeah.
But we have that information.
We were turned on to that, contacted them. They do everything, basically. They, after they evaluate your project, this is mostly for associations, by the way, that party is involved. And so they identify what turf areas you have that are both required to be by 2029 and eligible for the funding. And the funding is going at about a 90% rate right now.
We
Okay.
are almost, as of last Thursday, Met reported that we are almost at capacity
Did
for funding
they?
for the
Okay.
$7 per square foot because of the large response received in December. There was a huge
Interesting.
push for commercial and public agency rebates. So after, let's see, February 28th, it will go officially to $4 per square foot. But right now, any applications that are being received likely will not meet that $7 square foot because the funds have been already allocated. The only change will be if those projects are not completed by the September 30th deadline. So similar to Crop Swap, where we're at, where our communal fund opened back up because projects were not
Sure.
being
Okay.
completed, they'll release those funds and everyone on that list, they'll go through and start bringing those projects off the wait list. But that is definitely an area we are pushing. Esther and I are working on letters out to our superintendents, and then our HOAs, including our, Rancho Montserrat up here will be impacted because they have a lot of non-functional turf when you drive straight into that beautiful community. But we want to make sure that we're ahead of the game. This gives us a lot of cushion time for people to review their landscape, find ways to pull out, and then we'll eventually pass an ordinance for our district about non-functional turf.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
Good, but the newsletters look great. Keep it up. All right. Public communications, recap of related media stories. Item
Yes.
18.
So on December 5th, we had a article about our swift response to a fire in the Rainbow area. Staff was already out in the area performing some maintenance on a leak that was ongoing, and we got a little shout out in the newspaper for that. January 2nd issue of Village News, we had 2 articles about our year-end review and then the approval of the pass-through wastewater charge increase that will take place on February 1st cycle billing, or excuse me, February 10th cycle billing. And then January 8th, we had partnered with Boys and Girls Club to host a toy drive, and they gave us a little bit of recognition in there
Nice.
for the toys that we donated. So all good stories there.
All right. And I think we've already made our recommendations for some areas where we might be able to put press releases out.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna insert 18A, which is gonna be the cadence and schedule. So I guess I'd like to just put this out as far as my understanding of at the special board meeting was there wasn't a decision made about changes to schedules. I didn't think there was a vote on that. If that I'm mistaken, or if there's been one since, somebody needs to let me know. I did see quarterly Zoom calls or some kind of meetings that kind of went out that are not necessarily per our normal schedule. So can management let me know what's going on here?
Yeah, there was no, we haven't approved the calendar yet. We did discuss it at that meeting. Likely, based on that discussion, no real changes to meeting times, and that was the big part of the discussion. The thing we did talk about this committee being quarterly, and that was just kind of really more other things aside, it was really more about kind of the rate we've had these meetings anyways. We've canceled a few kind of in between ones. Sometimes there's conflicts and, things like that. They've been due to that. But felt like we could probably do these. I mean, that was kind of the discussion we wanted to have, that these might be better suited quarterly. I mean, obviously you get the customer call metrics every quarter, and we kind of combine all those rather than, staggering it out. But that was something we were discussing, was potentially going to quarterly rather than scheduling them every month and then canceling, 3 or 4 of them throughout the
Yeah, I
year.
mean, listen, if there's going to be a change to the committee structure, then that'll happen when it happens. I think if management is making a recommendation or asking the committee, then I think we should talk about it. But it seemed a little presumptuous to be sending out quarterly meetings when we haven't made any changes to our meeting cadence, unless a decision has been made at the board level that we shouldn't meet monthly. We usually tail off at the end of the year. That makes total sense. But we have a lot of activity that happens in the beginning of the year. There's lots of events, there's lots of communications, there's lots of things that happen. So really all I heard at the board meeting was there was feedback from one member of staff that said maybe we're meeting too frequently. And that came from one of the board members sharing it. If management feels we're meeting too frequently, then I guess the committee needs to understand that so that we can make a decision.
And that one really was. That one came more from staff going, "Hey, we think maybe we could accomplish similar, through a quarterly meeting structure." Again, all other things aside, that was really, it was more of an internal discussion where we were talking about, we do the quarterly call metrics, we do those things, and with the strategic plan approved, I guess the idea was, there's not a lot of action. It's really just more us
Information items.
and input. Yeah, it's more information items. That was kind of what was behind it. And we do usually end up canceling a few of these. We just thought, doing it more consistent on a quarterly basis, it was just
So that's management's recommendation that we move to quarterly.
we were going to recommend that. Yes.
I would like to hear from the committee members' thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I just made my thoughts clear. I think a more frequent input feedback loop until this committee doesn't exist and inform it is my recommendation, because I think there's a lot of topics that there's back and forth conversations, making changes, improving, and specifically in the first half of the year, there's lots of activity. So that but again, if it's overly burdensome to management, then that just needs to be said. Because we don't need to spend cycles that don't need to be spent, but thoughts?
Well, I think it's great we get feedback from management, and my thought is, let's try quarterly and see how it works. If we find stuff falling through the cracks, let's reconsider.
Sure.
Because we can always readjust and go back to monthly if we're not getting the results that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always on the table, of course. Yeah.
I like the idea of every other month. 60 days is a pretty long period of time to go without communication. The important communication in my mind, or the important thing is, and this is no knock on staff, is that the staff then, has to have its reporting complete, with every 60 days. 30 days is pretty short period of time. I agree, but 60 days isn't. And, I think that if we were to time that so that we miss December for sure, maybe August, figure out a schedule where we meet 6 times, we could still cancel any of those meetings that you don't feel are necessary, and we're real open to that if there's not a lot going on. But that would seem to be a better cadence to me. I just been, amazed though that we have so much to talk about. We don't meet very often without having input or a whole lot of information coming to the committee members so they can keep abreast of exactly what's going on. So
I mean, staff, and I was the one that made the comment at the board meeting when the board opened the conversation about, get what to do with the committees. And I think the first comment that I said was how valuable the input is from, each of the perspectives of the committee members, and staff does find it valuable. So please don't take the recommendation as discounting the value that you bring to the table in any way. I think the impression that we got was the board was looking for ways to make the process more efficient. And we know that a lot of the items on the agendas for the other 2 committees are items that are being reviewed before it goes to the board for final approval. And this is the one committee that has fewer items that need to be previewed sort of before we're taking something to the board for approval. And we already had a quarterly cadence for some of the regular reporting things like the strategic plan update and the quarterly call metrics. And, we kind of planned several months ahead for the newsletter. So it wasn't in any way intended to decrease the recommendations, because staff does find your input very valuable.
Yeah.
And
Noted.
so that's why the suggestion was made.
Yeah.
So whatever cadence the board decides is best is obviously what we'll move forward with, but your input is appreciated.
I have served on the committees. This committee I see as input, most importantly, for the input from the community to improve the communication for our community members regionally. And I think having it quarterly may not fit that need, whereas I believe maybe once a month may be a little bit too much. But Bill had an idea of every other month. Even though we don't maybe have action plans, we are continually giving input. And if that is only quarterly, then I'm concerned the ratepayers' input is not being heard.
Okay. All right. So I guess
Good feedback.
the feedback is quarterly seems a little too spread out, and every 2 months, maybe a better cadence until we're told otherwise. So I guess that's I think I'm fine with that.
Well, I think it's our suggestion for
Sure.
consideration.
Yeah, unless there's something that is in the bylaws or whatever it is that says how frequently we have to meet. If there's nothing like that in there, then I think we're just taking a recommendation from management, and we'll, do whatever's best for the district until something is decided at the board level and voted on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is interesting that after the board workshop, this committee has stayed intact. And that speaks volumes. Because
Yeah,
we
no.
take very seriously the
Sure.
work that we do.
Sure, sure. No, and I would just, I would put a dot on this one. I think that the feedback of this committee in those types of topics where maybe there isn't, you know, a deliverable that goes through the committee to the board has really influenced the way we do all of these types of things. It's been through this iterative feedback process, whether it be the strat plan and the way we track the strat plan, the way we communicate it, to the call for, you know, the request for call center metrics and be able to report that stuff on a quarterly basis. None of that stuff was happening before, right? That's because of interaction and feedback through the committee. So, you know, I think we're here at your you know, leisure, and so every 2 months is what we request. All right, suggested items for the next meeting, which sounds like is going to be March.
Could be. Yeah,
Okay,
assume. Yeah.
okay. Thoughts?
I would like to have feedback on if the Monzo Unified School District is interested in doing something as partners with us to support our community members that possibly need more tech support, putting in any kind of water detection leaks.
Okay. And then maybe where we're at with crop swap.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I actually just placed a call this morning.
Okay.
On behalf of a customer
Yeah.
who came in
Yeah.
to visit. It was his second time applying.
Yeah, and unless there's something significant to share on legislative update, we wouldn't normally do the strat. plan
Well, we could
update,
hear
but
about the Colorado update. Something.
I think we could skinny the agenda down a bit. Yeah. Okay. Anything else from anyone else? I appreciate everybody's time today. I know this is a long one. Thank you very much. Appreciate it all.
Thank you guys.
We adjourned.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you much.
Okay, so